Who's that? Who's that?
No, I thought we were doing it. Hey everyone, I'm JP Warren, and this is
Mike Umbro.
And on this week's Energy Fact Checks episode 4, we are just briefly going over the California for Energy and Science meeting that they just had, and as well, Mike, you want to talk about the second chunk of the segment that we talked about?
Yeah, a little bit of the CAISO spot market again on utility rates and electricity rates out here, and what we might see throughout the rest of the country next week with cold weather everywhere, and teeing up a little supply chain discussion for next week as well.
And we also left you a little homework, and if you do that homework, please leave your comments below, and we'll see you next week. And hello, everyone. Welcome to another Energy Facts Chats. This is episode 4 with me, JP Warren, and my brother from the West Coast,
Michael Umbro. How are you doing, JP? I can't believe we've already done 4. We're on 4.
I know. Do you think we're ever gonna get like smooth with like the intro? Like we're just gonna like phase in there without that like awkward like 2-second pause between like, okay, do I talk now or do you talk now?
No, well, maybe. I love awkward pauses.
Do you really?
That's what I live for. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I really do.
My wife's watching these and she's really enjoying them. Shocker. But she's really, and she's like, okay, JP, you got to do more pauses because you're saying a lot of filler words. And I'm like, well, that's just who I am. That's what I do. So that's definitely something. So everyone, thank you for tuning in on episode 4, Energy Facts Chats. And we really love the support that's been behind this. And it's been fun. I've learned a lot. And for those of you that haven't tuned in to the previous ones, the first one was an introduction, kind of brought up why we're doing this. The second episode that we had, we discussed the LA ban on exploration and production of oil and gas. And the third one I thought was a great tool because I learned a lot. And it's actually one of those things that after the conversation, I started carrying that through and started checking the electricity and kind of the makeup of the electricity. And it was such a cool tool to use, the California ISO.com website. So you can actually see the different sources of energy, kind of what's going into making electricity for your house. And I thought that was a great tool, not just for me, because I love this. I love our format because I get to learn something, but I think it's a great tool for people out there. So if you haven't checked out episode 3, go check that out and learn where the electricity that's going to your house, where it's coming from, what makes up of it, how much renewables, how much natural gas, how much battery, how much wind, solar. It was a great tool and a great conversation. So Mike, let's kick this off today. I think we want to cover two things that are happening, 2 recent news events that are happening. The first one I want to dissect is you just had your second meeting of the Californians for Energy and Science. Is that correct?
Meeting number 2 we did on Wednesday. It was well attended. We had over 20 people there. So we've got more than we did in the first month. And there's really a lot of support for it and a lot of interesting ideas that we shared. We spent about 90 minutes having lunch and talking about what we do in Kern County in California. And I think a lot of the conversation from our, dinner table meeting can be extrapolated out to the rest of the country. So I hope a lot of people listening to this get value from that and can start asking the same questions in their own communities as we see, weather events and scarcity and pricing issues in the markets.
And so what I really liked about it, and I want you to get into this more, let's spend a little bit on this. And these are 30-minute conversations that we have, so I don't want to take up too much time on this. But kind of, so there's the second meeting y'all had, and you had about 20 attendees show up. First off, congrats to y'all. That's awesome. And again, I know people can kind of tune in episode 1, but kind of give us an elevator pitch on what the goal of this group is.
Sure. Yeah, and I can hold up for anybody watching my Californian for Energy and Science book my buddy gave me when he opened up the 501c3 on.
There's no thrills to that. There's no thrills.
Like, thanks for this book. Just hey, we're keeping it simple, low budget right here.
That's like in those 80s movies when you just have beer.
Yeah. But I thought I'd open it up and look at the notes of what we talked about. So, modeled after yours truly in the Energy Crew Club events and what you're doing. I think there's real power to having people sit down and have an open-ended conversation, not a meeting where we're having a meal. Doing it once a month is the plan, but really we're in the organizational phase. So there were a lot of comments about setting up a board of advisors, getting a bank account going now that we have an organization, a legal entity, what kind of financial commitments, how are we going to fund this program? And we've already received, I'll say on here, we've already got a commitment from one company for $10,000 this year and another $10,000 next year. So
that's awesome.
It's amazing just to, just kind of word of mouth. the people that are there are interested in making this thing go, immediately. But the main things we're talking about and the purpose for this is to share the energy facts from our community, much like we're trying to do on this show, and to do it in a way that reflects the operations from the field operators, from the service companies, from the oil and gas companies. Even the bank was there. Tri-County's bank, our local community bank, had representatives there, and they know that their customers are being impacted. It's a lot of money coming through the economic engine that is Kern County. About $200 million a year of property taxes paid alone by upstream oil and gas operators. And that's a significant amount of money that
goes straight to the community.
Straight to the community, straight to the firefighters, straight to the teachers, straight to the public servants that are serving the entire community, not just our own little industry. They're not our own little worker bees that we get to earmark our property tax money for. This is for the whole community. And so that's what it's about, is being Californians first and foremost, local people in the industry, and then let's study energy and science. And that's it. The two main activities that we can do or perform as a 501c3 are research and then marketing. So it's really just that. Let's come together and study our data. Let's see what universities want to help us research these important topics, and then let's share that through social media channels, through podcasts like this. So
whatever it is,
that's the spirit, and we're moving forward.
So I was fortunate enough to zoom in on this, and I caught probably the majority of it. I had to get going. It was about a 2-hour meeting, and I found what was really intriguing and really cool about it was that you had all these people there at the table, and I equate people, when the oil and gas industry saying, hey, hydrocarbons are important. You need oil and gas, all that stuff. It's not a question that people are beating on their chest like, oh, we're scared of our jobs and we want our industry to hold on our jobs. Oil and gas industry has highly transferable skills. And it's not like Detroit in the 80s where we want to hold on to the manufacturer. This is one of those things. I heard a lot of people get up and talk about energy realities, energy truths, and how I heard a lot of talk about the environment. I heard a lot of talk about the economics and people's wallets and people's finances. I thought that was interesting. It wasn't, we needed to show people why we're important. This is like, hey, let's discuss the real impacts on the environment. Let's discuss the real impacts of poor energy policy of the communities and the people and the families. And I really like the direction, the conversation around that, because at the end of the day, that's what's important.
Absolutely.
It's educating people, it's providing information, and it's doing that on multi-level different platforms, whether it's billboards, TikTok, podcasts, whatever that looks like. And I really appreciate the fact y'all are talking about the environment and also the impacts when it comes to people's personal finances.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of frustration in our community that there's really smart people with really good ideas, with really good reputations and track records of being safe and being, an environmental steward in whatever capacity that is in their professional career and their personal career. We all love being outside and loving the environment. That's why you live in California. It's certainly not to save your money and and kind of get a break on the cost of living. It's to be able to be in the ocean surfing in the morning and in the mountains snowboarding that afternoon. And people do that as a hobby. I mean, it's an amazing place. And so many people are like that within the energy community, as in Texas and
Colorado,
enjoying the outdoors,
Denver,
absolutely.
Oklahoma. Yes.
Everybody. I mean, you can't. No, you can't. And I think that's one of the frustrating things. You can't really find a place where people say, "Oh, I don't care about the environment." Forget it. Who cares? It doesn't exist. We're all on the same team, but it feels like we're battling against the media and government regulation, talk of taxing, companies, all this stuff.
It's this crosshair fire. Well, this could do this. Oil and gas is this. Renewables. It's not about that. Let's talk energy. Let's talk the realities of energy today, 2022, almost 2023. We're not sitting here. It's 2045 where we have this technology advancements. Let's deal with. It's funny. It's the realities of this hydrocarbon has, you look at, whether it's human life expectancy, technology, all this stuff, once that started, once we started utilizing, everything zooms up. And it's so, to me, it's kind of like, check your energy entitlement, where it's like, you know what, I don't need that. I don't need that anymore. I want to continue my same quality of life, same cost of affordable cost of energy without this anymore. It's going to take time, and that's what we're here to do. We're gonna hopefully walk people through that, and kind of show where we're at today and where we're going tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And that's I think we're about 10 minutes in. That kind of covered the first one. And obviously, if people want to kind of learn more about the Californians for energy and science, they can always reach out to you on LinkedIn. And I'm assuming, obviously, this is the second meeting. I think as this thing progresses, it's going to get more organized. There's going to be websites. There's going to be content out there for people to follow, whether it's newsletters, whatever that is. But right now, it's just in the start of it. And if you want to learn how to, first off, if you either help out or learn more, or maybe just get some more information, just reach out to Mike or myself, and we can point you in the right directions for this.
Absolutely. And we've got some
fun watching.
And we've got some presentations, which you've seen, and some information that documents in detail why we're doing it. And so we are going to figure out, how do we put this on a website? I bought the domain energyandscience.com, which shocked me that was even available, to put energyandscience.com.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was available. So we're the first to be studying energy and science on the World Wide Web together.
I love that.
Yeah, we're gonna crank it up. We're gonna get the organization fully formed, and
I mean, from that meeting, I was impressed that you it wasn't Californians for environmental energy and science for that much.
Yeah,
y'all were talking about the environment. But anyway, let's talk about something else that's going on right now in your neck of the woods. We're talking about the cold snap that y'all are experiencing right now. And from episode 3, I've been following the megawatts per hour chart. It's addicting. It's addicting to see how natural gas and how renewables and how they kind of interchange at certain times of the day. And I thought that was very fascinating. I thought it was a great learning tool. And for those that don't know, check out episode 3. But talk to us what's going on right now, and kind of the text that you sent me that I was like, oh, dude, totally. But I'm not understanding. Let's break this down for people out there that don't really understand what you're talking about, myself maybe included.
Sure. And we just did an analysis of 2020 December, 2021 of December spot prices versus the first 2 weeks of December this year, because we have had a little bit of cold weather, and we are experiencing that across the country. Now, next week is supposed to be an Arctic blast, and the whole country is going to feel it. But in terms of what we're feeling, spot price, we're seeing above $500 a megawatt hour at certain points in the evening, which is 50 cents a kilowatt hour pre-distribution.
So that spot price, that's that number on that right side of the screen when you're looking at the cost of energy, whatever that's called, right? That's the spot price. Okay, so go on.
So what's happened, and I think we should find some natural gas trader to get on here with us if we can in the next week. PG&E, the Northern California utility, reclassified 51 billion cubic feet of its gas as buffer, or whatever that means. The gas is not gone, but now it's reclassified as like buffer in their storage systems. And it's created a weird dynamic where, they don't have enough natural gas. We've got a natural gas dependent grid, really everywhere.
Yes,
and
that's
so
something we saw
last
week.
Price for natural gas in California is $48 an MCF
this year.
Anybody right now, currently, it's $48 an MCF for gas in California.
Just to kind of give a little frame of reference, what was it last year?
Well, no. Well, the spot price of natural gas at the Henry Hub is what, 7, 6? I don't know what it's at. I don't look at it lately, but last year was probably $3 to $5 in California. And so what happens? The operators in California, the oil and gas operators right now in California, they use steam boilers. It's a lot of steam floods in California. So they've contracted forward for their natural gas. They use utility gas to power their steam systems to produce their oil.
Okay.
That's basically how that process works in the upstream. So you literally have operators with contracted gas in the $3 to $5 an MCF range.
Hold up. Let's wait. Let's wait for
shutting
the
in
to
their
buff.
steam systems and okay. Are we buffing?
Yeah, no, it's kind of buffering right now. Let's give it a minute. 3. All right, move your head. Let me see if you got me. Let me see if it's all right, perfect. All right, continue.
Okay. So you literally have oil and gas operators, and I'll explain why this connects with the grid. But you have oil and gas operators that are shutting in their steam systems, stop use of their own natural gas to sell that on the spot market for $48 an MCF. So that's a huge arbitrage opportunity. You're literally slowing down your oil production to sell the feedstock that you were using to produce said oil. But that's how high the spot market is now in California, where you literally have oil and gas operators slowing down their field operations in order to sell gas on the spot market.
And so what does that mean?
Fascinating.
Why is that fascinating?
That means, to me, just from an economic, high level perspective, that means something's not working right in the market. I mean, that type of price spike and volatility, there's a disconnect between what's in storage, between what's being produced, what's available, and the delivery to a Western region. And I don't know, unfortunately, I don't know the answers to all those questions about why this set of circumstances has, accumulated to the point where now spot prices on the electricity market are $500 a megawatt hour. I think there's a number of things at play here, but one thing is sure, I don't think the media is covering it. I've seen a couple of articles about what's happening right now with electricity rates, but I don't see
people diving into why.
Yeah, like, why is it happening? Why is or are we going to come away from this in 2 months with Sacramento saying, look at these oil and gas operators. They were, they took all the gas they had bought at this low price and now they're selling it to you ratepayers and making a fortune. Is it going to be twisted into that scenario?
Potentially.
It probably will be. But from a business perspective, you would say, well, that's smart. If they can go ahead and sell something.
If I could sell it over here for $50 more versus, I get that.
Yeah. And so that I would love, maybe that's our task after I leave people hanging with like, what's the answer? But I would love to, maybe someone will chime in from the natural gas trading world about why this supply and demand dynamics are the way they are. But relating it to the grid, it's very concerning because it's really not even that cold here anymore. I mean, it's not. It's 65 and sunny here at my house. But the market is still extremely elevated when you look at a year-over-year perspective. December 2021, you had prices down below $75 a megawatt hour throughout the whole month, never going above, not never, but rarely going above that price. And now you have basically the first 16 days of this year's December, everything's in the $300 to $500 a megawatt hour. So you've literally seen the whole market level up, 3 to 5 times throughout the whole month.
So why should consumers dive into this? Why should they be concerned about this? Why should consumers learn about this this swing in the spot price?
I think because if they don't learn about it, they will fall victim to it. So what will happen, it's not, I've been talking to buddies, it's not like gasoline that's posted on every street corner and we see in our head, okay, whoa.
We can tell, we can tell right then and there, like, something's happening. Right.
Yeah. And so this, in talking to family members, friends, people don't even know what they're paying per kilowatt hour. I know only because I've kind of looked it up. And, so a lot of people's landlords pay their utility bills and they might not see the bill at all in some cases. But landlords will see it and raise rent if that's the case. People will be, heating their homes all month this month throughout the night, and maybe not even know.
And then wake up to a bill that's 2, 3, 4 times what they're used to paying.
Yeah, and I know that happened in Texas in the freeze y'all had
Oh yeah,
last
that
year.
was bad. I think my sister got a little bind with that too, because I think she went to month.
Right. Right. You think you're saving in some of these programs and it goes to why the basis for what we're doing here, and even just kind of BSing about it together, is just to bring awareness, to have people
And that's the
ask
thing,
those
and that's why
questions.
I think this is why it's so great, because it's me. I'm someone on the outside that I see all these the stuff on Twitter. I try to follow, I try to understand, but not to a certain extent. So having these conversations really does kind of help me understand a little bit more on the prices and the volatility and
Mhm.
what to be looking for when I'm looking at the California ISO or the ERCOT, or whether you're in Boston or wherever you're at. You can go in and dive into what the energy mix up is, and if you're having natural gas at that price, yeah, it's gonna increase the cost of living for a lot of people, especially during
Absolutely.
these tough times.
Yeah, and I think moving forward, one thing that's interesting from a policy perspective and just a human life perspective is recognizing, we're putting a lot of faith and trust in these utility providers to manage the system responsibly,
Yeah.
to make sure they keep the lights on, but also, we're at their whim in terms of, how costly is it to integrate renewables, how costly is it to integrate storage. Once these policies start rolling and these goals start being set way out into the future, the only way to get there is really to raise the cost, because it's not free.
And
Technology
no
integration is
one wants
not
any
free.
cost raised right now.
Right. And nor can we really afford it, especially if we see, a recession or whatever happens with
Yeah.
the bigger economy moving into 2023.
So okay, so we're at minute 21 right now. So for those out there kind of tuning in right now, we don't have the answers right here. These are just discussions, and these are great discussions for you to kind of start thinking about at the house. If your bill is moving up or you do get this, just start. It's a good exercise to kind of dive in and learn why the bill is fluctuating the way it is, and why,
Mhm.
and if it is high fluctuation, where the volatility really is lying at, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. 100%. I think that and to maybe plug into, if you have some of these answers, plug into channels like this, or plug into the community to rally support and figure it out together, and support policies that support us financially.
So what kind of discussions you do feel that with the increased spot price and all that? What kind of discussions would you like to be at a cafe looking at the ocean and
Mhm.
overhearing a table next to you kind of talk? Because here's the deal: you are seeing it. You put out some stuff on your Twitter account where you are seeing certain policies kind of come to fruition, where it isn't reaping the benefits that the original intention had. And I'm not saying all
Mhm.
policies are out there with bad intentions. Also, I'm sure there's a lot of goodness behind it. However, whenever the execution of these policies happen, they aren't the results that people have
Right.
communicated previously. So
Yeah.
you are seeing some more conversation when it comes to electricity. You're seeing people talk about, okay, well, these solar panels, okay, the natural gas is kind
Mhm.
of getting important. I think I saw that Ohio labeled natural gas is green right now, which I
Mhm.
think was a huge
Yeah.
step.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing, I struggle with this a lot. I struggle with understanding how we take information we're looking at within, for us being energy professionals, and getting that out to the mainstream. And then how does the mainstream and everybody at the cafe have a voice with, it just seems like we're all kind of maybe just talking at lunch about what we're doing, but how do we actually get it to the policy folks that are writing and implementing these policies that are impacting us? And the thing I keep thinking about is maybe it just starts with everybody questioning it, like
Yes.
why, and
Yeah.
not, when a politician's on a mainstream news outlet, really asking them, well, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you so supportive of 100% emission free electricity in 2045 when people today can't afford it? Tell us why that is the case. And
Right.
is it just about this global climate concern? Because then that it opens up a whole nother line of questioning about, what can we really affect as a people and as one country, even though we're the United States, and relating it to the trends we're seeing in, for example, refinery capacity is leaving North America and going to the Middle East and North Africa and Asia, where they will allow new refineries to be built. And so, are we really weaning off the hydrocarbon, or are we just moving the production of it somewhere else?
We're exporting it pretty much. I mean, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing, California, whether it's California, wherever it is. Even I saw in Germany, they're investing into, the oil and gas plays, but not in Germany. Right. They're doing that elsewhere, just like California. It's, hey, we want, everything, our air clean, this and that. However, you're exporting those problems to either A, the surrounding states, or B, foreign countries to produce.
And you're imposing that cost on your people. So it's a lose in that scenario. And I think it's going to, the sad part is, I think it takes catastrophe to break gasoline prices, or in this case, to make utility prices unbearable for people to say, well,
something's not working.
Not working.
What they said is not happening. So I think that probably is a good I guess call to action, is to start having conversations. And it's not defending one or defending the other. It's having real conversations about energy and the realities of energy. And I think that's what's so crucial about just engaging conversations with your neighbors. You're looking at your bill, find out why, ask why. Exactly. I like that. So what else you got for us? We're on minute 26 right now. What you got?
What else do we have? Do we talk about, we talked about not permits. Look at that. It's like the front of my mind, all permits. It's embarrassing.
We can hold that off for another energy facts chats conversation.
No, I think the thing that to really consider is, engaging folks from some of these dark corners of the natural gas trading would be interesting. If we can get some folks from the refinery side, maybe, to talk about why there would be even a scenario where you could be talking about windfall profits and not just kind of economics and supply and demand.
I think that'd be great to get other people on this and kind of have us teach us a little bit about their side of the industry and relay that to the common people who aren't in the energy space.
Yeah, and with the amount of people, it should be pretty easy. You got it between Midland, Oklahoma City, Houston. You got everybody. Yeah,
look, I would say I think that's a great idea, and I think maybe during the Christmas break and maybe during that time, if you whatever state you're at, try to find that'll be a fun experiment. Try to find out what is making up your electricity.
Yeah, and this kind of brings it, to kind of fill out the 30 minutes here. Would be interesting is to have people that are listening to the first couple of facts chats that we've done. Give us some questions, give us some topics. That would be cool to say, hey, what are you all thinking about that we're not talking about?
Yeah, because right now, I mean, this is one of those things where Mike and I will get on, and be like, hey, let's kind of talk about this. This is kind of this was interesting this morning, or this. Hey, I just saw this. Let's talk about this. So we are absolutely open to engage in conversations and have discussions on things that are outside of our realm that we're not even addressing. So please, obviously, you can leave a comment in the comment section below. And share, and again, some homework would be find out what is your home electricity mix.
And the other thing, so I looked at my notes. I'm like, there was something else I wanted to say, and so maybe this tees up a conversation of facts chats for next week. But supply chain and costs, and what you're seeing specifically in Texas and the Permian, and maybe we could dive into that next week about well, prices are here at 80, but what is the room for operators to ramp up? Does that running room exist? Do we see it in 20? Maybe that's next week's facts chats. I think I
have the answer for that, but that would be a great discussion to have, and the reasons why that, because historically, the price of oil usually. The activity usually kind of trails that, and you're really not seeing that lately. But that'd be a great conversation to get into. But everyone, I want to thank you out there for tuning in to Energy Facts Chats with me, JP Warren and
Mike Umbro. Sorry I had you on mute. I I got a gas-fired leaf blower going on in the front yard. Damn it!
So you're muting every sentence you have and
that's
unmuting
noise
when
pollution. That's noise pollution
man,
and air pollution. We got to cut out the. Luckily, the leaf blowers are no more in 1 year in California.
Really?
Done. Got to be.
What are all the dads going to do in the fall season then?
You're going to be raking your leaves, or you're going to be plugging in your blower.
We're going back to
have your hair dryer out on the side.
We're going out to the 1900s. We're actually raking leaves right now. Ooh, gross. Yeah. But well, hey, I appreciate you taking the time. I'm looking forward to getting another conversation going. And thank you everyone for tuning in out there. And we hope you enjoyed this week's Energy Fact Chats.
Have a good weekend.